Hello, guys. Welcome to our live stream. Today, we're going to learn how to clean data using Power BI, and I'm going to teach you guys 10 different data cleaning methods using Power BI. I'm sure you all would like to know these different methods. We're going to clean a complex data using Power BI. So if you've been meaning or wanting to learn how to clean data using Power BI, then this video is definitely for you. After the live stream, I'm going to put a I'm going to upload the data sets we're going to use today so that you can make use of it. So we are in Power BI right now. So we are going to first import the data. So you go to get data, then select the file. Whether if it's an Excel file, you go to Excel. If it's a CSV file, you go to CSV. So we are going to select Excel workbook, and then we are going to select the data. So this is the data we're going to be using. I'll click on open. So it's going to connect and it's going to open to Power Query Editor. So Power BI has two segments. It has Power Query Editor and it has Power BI Desktop. So this is the Power Query Navigator. So the next thing to do is to select the what's it called? Select the data set you want to make use of, and then down here you can go through the data and be sure that this is exactly what you want. Right after that, you can now decide whether you want to click on load or you want to click on transform. So the thing is that if you're already done cleaning your data, you want to go ahead for analysis, then you can. But if you want to clean your data or transform your data, which is what we want, then you should definitely click on transform data. Then so we're going to click on transform right now. And it's going to take us to our Power Query Editor. Okay, so this is Power Query Editor, and I'm going to explain some features in this place. Oh, I noticed that part of my screen is not sharing. So let me stop sharing and share. Let me just share the entire screen so that all right. Okay. So I believe you cannot see this. I didn't know it wasn't showing earlier. So now we have the data set. This is a US President Excel tutorial data set. So we are going to clean this data set all through. But before we do that, I want to explain some things for you guys. So this is Power Query Editor in Power BI. If you look at your right end, you are going to see applied steps. So these applied steps are where you will see all the steps that you've taken doing your analysis or whatever you are doing in this Power Query Editor. Whatever step you take, you're going to see it here. And this is where you can edit your steps. That means if you want to what's it called? If you want to cancel a step, this is where you cancel the step, right? So Power BI doesn't have an undo button. So this is where you cancel the step. Then these are the tabs, right? These are the tabs we have, and all the things you can do with each of the tabs. We are currently in the home tab right now. Now let's move into data cleaning proper. So before you start cleaning your data, you have to first make sure that you observe your data to know what needs to be cleaned or not, right? Let me put on my glasses. So to know what needs to be cleaned or not, now we have this column 1, which doesn't have any title, and it just has numbers. And let me assume that this column is meant to be the serial number column. And if you check the second column, it has serial number as a title and serial number values. So meaning that we don't really need we don't really need this column one. We don't need this column one. If you already have a serial number column, then we definitely do not need this column one. So what we're going to do is that we're going to select this column and we are going to clean it. We're going to remove it. So the one of method of data cleaning in Power BI is removing. So there are two ways you can remove unwanted columns. You can just select the column, right click, and then click, or you can select the columns you want and then remove the columns you don't want. So you are going to practice these two steps in removing your column. So the first step is just to right click and then click on remove, and your column disappears. Then let's cancel the step here. In the you can actually remove your column. Okay, so another way you can remove your column is for and select all the columns that you need actually. So the columns that you want in your table, you're just going to select them. So you're going to hold your control key, keep holding it as you select multiple columns. So you're going to select all the columns you need, then you right click. Oh no, sorry, that's a mistake. So I'm going to select them again. Okay, I think I shifted the column to another position. So that's okay. So I've selected all the column I need. So make sure your arrow is actually here, right? Then you can right click and then you see remove columns. So if you click on this remove other columns, it's going to remove any other column that is not selected ones that you selected. So we're going to do that now. So you see all the column, that particular column that wasn't selected got removed. But I want to assume that you already understand what I'm trying to do here. So let me just repeat it again. So make sure you're holding your control key and then you select all the table you need, all the column you need, right click and then click on remove other columns. And then when you scroll back, you see that first column that you didn't want is gone. So whenever you want to remove a column, you can either just right click on the column and remove it, or you just select what you need and then remove any other column that you don't need. So removing a column is one of the most important method you have to take. All right. So now we are going to look at another data cleaning method that's very important to take note of. Right now, the next is removing null spaces or removing empty spaces, or I will call it empty values, because sometimes you will have a cell that is empty, doesn't have any value. But before we do that, I noticed that this row 20 is empty, right? This row 20 is empty or true. So before we start doing that, let's just go ahead and right click and remove this empty row. Well, let me zoom out. Okay, so just right click and then you're going to click on remove rows. We just click on remove rows. So we have remove alternate rows, remove duplicates, remove blank rows. So we're going to click on remove blank rows. So we have been able to remove that row 20 that was blank and doesn't have any value, right? Remove the zoom in again so that you can, see what I'm doing. Okay, so we have done that. Now, let's check each of these columns to see if we have any empty cell, or what we call null values. Okay, that box. And we are going to scroll down all the way down to check if we have any empty cell. So it's the numbers, these numbers here. All right, so we are good to go. Okay, so we click on OK. Now let's go to the next column and you check. You will see that this next column, which is the president column, if you click on it, you're going to tell here. So that's a rule that guides removing null spaces when analyzing data. Before you remove null spaces, you have to be sure that cell is in a row that is completely empty. So you have to sure that is in a row that is completely empty. So if it's not empty completely, you have to like handle it in a different way. There are many ways to handle it. You can either decide to delete the cell, or you replace it with zero. That if it's if it's a test column, you can calculate the most occurrence value, that's the mode, and replace that empty cells. So this last method I told you now, how to handle a missing cell, is the best because row is going to affect the average of that column. It's going to affect the average of that column. Like when you finish, affect the average. So it's better you calculate the average of the column and then you use the value you got and replace it in those empty cells. So first thing first, we are going to select everything, and then we're going to select the null, and then we are going to filter the null. So when you select everything and just select the null, come over here and then click on OK. So you see, it seems that that null cell, all the rest of the cell in that null has values, so we can't delete these values. We can't delete them. Very, very important. If we delete the cell, we are going to delete the whole row, which you don't want. A cell exists in a row. So when you delete a cell, you're definitely going to delete the whole row. And I'm sure you do not want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to cancel this step. Okay. Just give maybe this life back. Right, so let's go ahead now. Sorry for that. Okay. So now that you can't delete this empty cell because other values are inside of it. So what we're going to do, because it's a test column, we're going to replace that empty cell with null, with specified. So we're going to select the president column. We go to values. There are many ways to do this. This is just one of the ways. So value to find, you can put null and then replace with what? You replace unknown, and then we'll click on OK. So let's see we no longer have the null. So you see the null has been replaced with unknown here. Let me So see the null has been replaced with unknown. So that is it. We still have a lot of things to do for this column, but let's finish with cleaning the empty cells or dealing with the empty cells. So we have already talked about removing unwanted columns, we've talked about removing unwanted rows. Now we are dealing with removing empty values or empty cells. So we are going to check each of the columns, right, and deal with it before we move into another method of data cleaning, another thing you need to know, another data cleaning process you need to know. So let's scroll down in this column. So this column doesn't have any empty cell. So we are good to go here. So let's, check this. So it doesn't have date updated, doesn't have, let me come down here. So salary has null, okay? So we're going to select everything, select the null, and then click on OK. So you see the null is in the middle of a row that has other values. So we're definitely going to fill it up with a value. So what we're going to do is we're going to just fill it up with what? 0. So we'll go to replace value, value to find, null, replace with what? 0. Then we'll click on OK. So that is it for that. Vice column. The vice also has null, okay? So we are going to also filter the null to see if we can, So I'll click on OK. So the same thing with the null in the vice. So we're going to replace it and use unknown. So we're going to use unknown, and then we're going to click on OK. So that is that for that. So let's go ahead. I don't think we are done. Okay, party is the last column. So party doesn't have any empty cells. So this is good. Now we've taken care of the top data cleaning. So we are going to move to the next. So the next is we are going to be using some test functions to clean our data. So if you take notice of this president column, you will notice that some of names, they are in different cases. We have a proper case here. We have a what's it called, a uppercase, an uppercase. Sorry. So what we're going to do is that we're going to change. Okay, so everything should be a proper case. We don't want any to be lower or upper. So I'm going to just right click, I'll go to transform, and I'll go to capitalize each word. So capitalize each word is going to put them into a proper case. So that is done. So that is it, right? Then the next data cleaning is what we call trim. Trim is also a test function in for Power BI and also for Excel. So to trim this data, you just have to right click, go to transform a trim. This is the best thing about Excel. It's so about Power BI. It's so easy to use. Like I don't even have to stress. I just have to right click and trim. That is all. If there's Excel, you have to now to this column. You notice that there's some unnecessary informations we are seeing in this column. So we're going to remove it, right? Notice if we want to remove the values in this column, right, we might actually have to remove the value in this class 2 because it's also a value in a bracket. So we are going to first of all change this value in a bracket. We're going to remove this bracket from this value. So how are we going to do that? I'm going to come here and I'm going to select, highlight, or let me say, copy this, select this column, replace value, then value to find this, and then replace with, we're just going to replace it with class 2, and then click on OK. So this, right? So now what we are going to do is that we are going to find the values in this column, and we are going to replace it with nothing because we want to clear these things off. So I'll just come here. Give me column. So value to find that, replace with what? Nothing. And then I'll click on OK. Then I'll do this too. So let me see if we can actually remove everything at once. So we are going to say value to find. We are going to remove everything here, and we are going to put asterisks inside. So what this asterisk should means is all, or let's say everything. If you're familiar with SQL, this asterisk means. So I'm now going to click on OK. Let's see if that works. Oh, it doesn't work for Power BI, but that definitely works for Power Query in Excel. So that means we have to like technically remove them one after the other. Or another way we can do it is to split the column to remove these values and then delete it. But that one is, let's see if we can actually do that too. Okay, let's see if we can, if that step is going to work. So I'll go to split column. Let's try by, I'm not really familiar with this by position, so let me try something else. Let's use by delimiter. So space is the delimiter. I'm going to use rightmost delimiter. So rightmost delimiter means you should go to the rightmost side of the column and split from there. Then we click on OK. Okay, so you see not all of them is removed. And then some of them that have, so this is the point where Excel needed. So that is why Excel will always be the most powerful data cleaning tool ever, because if you want access to your data, you can clean it no matter how bad, no matter how dirty your data is. Excel can clean it out, what however it is. With Excel, all I have to do is just to put in the asterisks in the inside the parenthesis, and it will just remove everything, because asterisks inside the parenthesis just means everything, all the value inside a bracket, and these things are values inside the bracket. So what are you going to do now? If you are watching, can you tell me what do you think we should do now? Well, let me go, let me check if we have anybody here. Okay, so don't really have anyone following. Okay, we have some people here. If you are following, can you tell me what you think we should do in this situation? That if you are following, we want to remove the values in this bracket. I want to remove them, right? But then states is meant to be. So how are we going to make sure that the states remain here, but these unwanted values are removed? How am I going to make sure? And then some of the values are, are still here, but then it's easier now because I can just remove these ones by myself. But then how am I going to put back the states? Okay, so that's to tell you If I was working on this as a personal project or as a job, I'll definitely save this file and take it to Excel and clean. But then today we are using Power Query to clean, so I can't take it to Excel. So what we're going to do is we are going to cancel this step, and we have to take the raw long road in cleaning that column. We just have to take the long road in cleaning it. So the long road is removing each of them one by one. So we're just going to copy it, select the column, go to replace value, and then put in this as a value to find, and just leave this place empty and click on OK. And that's how you're going to do that for everything here. So but if you don't want to stress yourself doing this here, you can take it to Excel. Maybe I should just save this file, and I should just save it and take it to Excel. So I'm just going to close and apply. I'm just gonna close some of this. So just keep watching. I'm saving it now because I want to take it to Excel and just clean up that particular column, and then I'm going to bring it back here. So now I can save it. So save as. So I'm going to save it to my downloads, and then I'm going to save it as data cleaning. So I'm done saving it. So I will just minimize my Power BI, and then I'll go to Excel. So let me just type out Excel. So I'll go to my Excel. All right, so I'll go to blank workbook, and then I'm going to bring in that table. Um, okay, it's not a CSV file. So let's see. Let me go to from workbook, and then I'll select data cleaning and click on import. Then I'll select this and then click on transform data. So this is the Power Query editor in Excel, and this is going to do the job for us. So what we're going to do now is for this column, this particular column, I'll save this is the old one, I think. So I'll select this column, and I'll go to, so it will ask me value to find. I will just put in this and then replace with nothing, and then I'll click on OK. Oh, it's so instead of using Power Query, let's let's just import the as it is in Excel. So we're not going to use Power Query. We're just going to import the data. So just bear with me. I'm just going to, I'll just go to where it is. Yeah. Oh, okay. I totally forgot. I saved it as a Power BI file. So I'm just going to use a new file. I'm going to open it with Excel, and I'm just going to clean it immediately. Okay, so now see the column here. This is a column here, so I'll select it, and then I will go to, this is the home tab. Here's the, then find and replace. Find and select, then replace. Okay, then I'm going to do this, and then I'll click on replace all. So all done, we made 39 replacements. So I'll close this, and then I can now go ahead and I will save this, and then I'll take it back to Power BI. So just for, I will name it data cleaning 2. So I'm going to save it to my, let me save it to my download. So now we can go back to Power BI, and you can you can go and import the, and by doing that you will notice that when we are done, you're going to see that that column is cleaned up. So this is basically what you have to do thing. So we are going to go to Power Query, and then in Power BI, and then we can now continue with where we were. Okay, just delete this. This is the one we are working with before. So I'll just delete it so we can work with one. So we can work with this one alone. Come here and remove this. Then I will just, okay, we already did some cleaning here. So in case, you can just go back and watch what we did. So I don't have to repeat the same thing. Okay. So now the next thing we can do is to go to the next column to continue the cleaning. So this column now, this thing is unnecessary. This thing is not needed here. This value, this 1841 AE, yes, is not needed here. So we are going to come over here, and we are going to highlight everything here, and we are going to replace it with nothing. So we go to replace values. So value to find is this, replace with nothing. I'll click on OK. So with that, I've been able to replace it. If you click on this filter box, you are going to see where we have Republican and Republicans. So we are going to either make both of them Republicans or Republican. But I think the correct is Republican. So that means we are going to change these Republicans to Republican by removing the S. Okay. And then this, we're supposed to also remove this April 4. April 4 has nothing to do with party. So we're just going to click on, we're going to, let's do for Republicans, and then we are going to change it to Republican. So let's use this Republican, we'll just add S to it. Then we'll select, make sure you're selecting this column. Go to replace value, value to find with S, then replace with what? Republican, and then we'll click on OK. So if you click on the filter box, you're going to see that we only have Republican and not Republican. So we're also going to remove this April 4 because this week, they are all supposed to be the same group. But April 4 is separating one of it, which is wrong. So I'm going to select this April 4. So instead of going to copy it, I can just type it. So I'll go to replace value, then value to find. I will write April 4. Replace with what? Nothing. I don't want to replace with anything. So I'll click on OK. Oh, this comma is still here. Actually, I removed that too. So I'm going to also go to replace value, value to find comma, replace it with nothing. So that is it. So we are done with that column. Now let's go to this vice column. So you see that this vice column has a lot of things to do with. So we are going to remove, we are going to first trim it, and then we change the casing. So to trim it, you just right click, go to transform, and you see trim. And then we are now also going to right click, transform to capitalize each word. So capitalize each word means you should make it into a proper case. You should make it into a proper case, okay? So we are going to click it, capitalize each word. Now let's move to this salary. We replaced this no earlier with zero, but because we had to start afresh, so that's why it's still showing no. So, and date updated, we don't really have anything for date updated, and also for date created, so nothing to do with that. So now some time, so let's go back and just redo some of the things that we did earlier, like this president column. I trimmed it, I also transformed it by using capitalize each word, right? And I think that is all basically. So the next thing we are going to do is to remove duplicates, okay? So for Power Query won't tell you whether you have a duplicate or not. So you first have to count the rows before you remove your duplicate. So we are going to click on transform, and then we'll click on count rows. So we have 46 rows. So we are going to cancel that step. And then we're now going to come here and then click on it, and then you see remove duplicates. We click on it. Then we are going back to count the rows to see. So it's by the, if there's anything, it was 46 before to 44, meaning that two duplicates were removed. This. And then we are going to clean this data. So the next thing to do is to go to close and apply. That's if we now want to start with analysis, okay? You can now go to close and apply, and then start analyzing your data. So before I go ahead, I would like to know if anyone has any question. Let me check if, oh, I should be loud. So sorry. I'm just seeing that now. The numbers are not clear. Was okay. Just give me a minute. Okay, that's. I thought I was okay. Okay. So now we are here. Okay, it's time for analysis. You can just do some things here. We don't can't really do much. So we have president, we have the parties, we have the prior, we have the SN number, the salary. So we can find out the president, find the total salary that all the presidents have. So the total salary of all the presidents is 8.25 million. So it's 8.25 million. That's the total salary that all the presidents have. Okay, so this is a KPI actually. Then we can also find out the total number of presidents that we have, but we have to write a DAX formula to actually calculate it. So how do we write a DAX formula to calculate it? Just right click on the lump, go to new measure, and then we'll write the name of the measure. So the name of the measure will be number of, or instead of number, you can say total number of presidents, right? Total number of presidents. Then we're going to use, instead of count, let's use distance count. So distance count is going to give us the distance number of president, removing duplicates. So we are going to select the column, president column, and then we are going to click on commit. So when you do that, measure giving us total number of presidents. So we're going to click on it, select card, When you do that, you are going to see we have 42 presidents. So 42 presidents, total salary of 42 presidents is 8.25 million. Okay, so now let's go and check what else we can do. We can also calculate number of vice presidents. So we are going to also calculate number of vice presidents. So we are going to highlight it, select new measure, and then calculate the total number of new I'll just say number of vice. So number of vice is just number of vice presidents. So I'll also use distinct count, and I'll select the vice column, and then I'll click on commit. With that, we've created a measure calculating number of vice. So we select it and we select card. Let me make sure that I don't know that the screen is showing. Okay, the screen is showing. Okay, so with that, I've calculated that we have 35 number of vice presidents. So we had 35 vice presidents here. Remember that this data is for US presidents data set, right? Then we can calculate number of parties, the different number of parties that is available. So we are going to click on new measure, and then we are going to say number of parties. So number of parties is equal to, we're also going to count it to just is here. So for those that don't know, that is just the graph normal formulas. So the way you write formulas in Excel is just the same way we write in Power BI, but DAX is just more, you can do more complex formula writing with DAX. That's it. So parties. So we have total of 7 parties. Total of okay. So we've done some kind of written more three. We've calculated like three. We've written like three DAX formulas for these different measures, right? I don't think we really need to know Pyro, right? I don't think to know this. We need to calculate it. Now we have some of this. We can now, start with some analysis. Now we can find out the president that has the highest salary, okay? By selecting the salary and the president column. So let's put it in focus mode. So if you put it in focus mode, you are going to see that Barack Obama is the president with the highest salary. So you know that depending on the year of this data, that's when Barack Obama has the highest salary as the president of the United States of America. So we are going to go back. So Barack Obama has the highest salary, Woodrow Wilson has the second to the highest, and so on. So we can, if we want to select like top 5 presidents with the highest salary, this is what you're going to do. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's the number of this president? What's the salary of this fifth president? 365,000 to this filter place, and then president sum of salary is showing all. Click on it, and we're going to select greater than or equal to. So we're going to select greater than or equal to 665,000, and then we click on apply filter. So this is giving us the president with the highest paid salary. So Barack Obama is number 1, Woodrow Wilson is number 2, Donald Trump 3, George W. Bush 4, Bill Clinton 5. So this is the top 5 president with the highest salary. So if you want to get the top 5 president with the lowest salary, you can also make use of this salary and president. And then when we go to focus mode and filter, I'm going to come here. So this is a lot. Maybe let's do top 10 or so. Let's start from here. Okay, let's stop here. This is 20,000. So James Madison has was paid $20,000. So we're going to come to the summary of sum of salary, and we're going to select greater than or equal to greater than or equal to 20,000, and then we're going to apply filter. So okay, no, less than or equal to 20,000 instead, not greater than. This Martin Van Buren is the lowest, followed by George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison. So these are the president with the lowest salary. President with the lowest salary. Let me see if I have any question. What the Hi to you too. All right, so I'll just go ahead. So now, what else can we do? We can do to see the president and the parties they are in, right? But if we do president and party, okay. So this is it. The president and the different parties they are in. But I want to know the party that has more the party that has more presidents. So instead of I'll select president and then I'll select number of parties. Oh, no. Okay, I'll select number of party and then president. Oh, okay. I think this is not giving me what I want. It's not giving me what I want. It's not giving me what I want. Okay, so let's see number of the vice president, and the salary. So let's know the vice president that is being paid more salary than the rest. So office vacant is the president with the highest paid salary. Oh, there. Is the vice president, I mean, and and all that. So there's other things you can actually do with this data. I just wanted to show you some things we can do with it. But basically what we came here to do today is just data cleaning. Just data cleaning. So I don't know if anyone has any questions so far. So if you are following me, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any question based on data cleaning or any question at all? So we're just going to mention the different data cleaning methods that we did today. Number one, we did, some removing rows, removing unwanted rows. So we removed unwanted rows in the table, right? We removed rows that we didn't want, removed columns that we did not want. We removed columns that were not that was unwanted in different ways, in two different ways. That was what we did. And then we trimmed our columns. We also we trimmed our columns. We also changed the case of our columns. Oh, I just remembered we didn't do one thing. We didn't change data types. We didn't check data types in our column or changed it. So let me share my screen again. Let's let me go. So this is our table. We are going to go back to transform data, to go back to Power Query. This is how you usually go back to Power Query when you are in Power BI desktop. So this is Power Query. Okay, let me share the Power Query side. Sorry, just give me a minute. Okay, so I've gone back to Power Query. I want us to look at data type, changing data type. So this data type is correct because it's whole number, right? Because this column is actually a whole number. This one is correct because it's a test. This is correct because it's a test. And then this is correct, also correct, correct. This salary doesn't look, this salary is not correct. This salary is in decimal, and then we change it to whole number. Then this is correct and this is correct. So it was just the salary column that didn't have the correct data type. So this is how you change data type of column that doesn't have. And then another thing is that, okay, and then another thing is that you need to always change data types if it is correct. It's not a must. Sometimes all the data type is correct. Power BI automatically just assumes or allocate data types to our column. So you don't really need to change the data type if you know that it is correct. Okay, it aren't necessary. So that is it for today data cleaning. If anyone has a question, no problem. In case you have any question, you can reach out to me in the comment section of the recording of this video. I'm going to, after the video is recorded, I'm going to put in the link to the data set so that anyone can use the data set and work with it. And I also have a data community where you have data professionals, aspiring data analysts, becoming data analysts, and that community is just wonderful. So I'll also leave the link to that community there in case you're interested in that community. Okay, guys, so thank you for sticking with me today. I will see you in my next live video. Bye bye.